Hello, let's start the presentation of Team 8. The topic of our presentation is the ghost of Internet Explorer will haunt the web for years. Our content is first, about article, second, zero day, third, how zero day attack works, fourth, target of zero day attack, fifth, how to identify zero day attack, and finally, how to prevent zero day attack. Launched in 1995, Internet Explorer came pre-installed on Windows computers for almost 2 decades. In past, to search some things, we used to click IE and use many search engines. However, support for Internet Explorer has ended on June 15, 2022, and it disappeared into our memories. So while searching on Wired site, we find this article. As said before, support for IE has ended, and while last week's milestone will push even more users off the historic browser, security researchers emphasize that IE and its many security vulnerabilities are far from gone. Microsoft will disable the IE app on Windows 10 devices, guiding users instead to its next generation Edge browser, first released in 2015. And Edge incorporates a service called IE Mode to preserve access to old websites built for Internet Explorer. Microsoft says it will still support IE's underlying browser engine known as MS-HTML, and it has its eye on versions of Windows still used in critical environments. But Maddie Stone, a researcher for Google's Project Zero vulnerability hunting team, points out that hackers are still exploiting IE vulnerabilities in real-world attacks. Zero day is a term describing a recently discovered security vulnerability that a hacker can use to attack a system. This means that the vendor or developer has just found out about the fault. Zero-day attacks occur when a hacker exploits a flaw before a developer resolves the problem. The words vulnerability, exploit, and attack are commonly used in conjunction with zero-day. When patches are released, vulnerabilities are no longer called zero days. Zero-day exploitation refers to the technology used by malicious users to attack vulnerable systems. It is called zero-day exploit because it was publicly known during zero day. It is very difficult to defend an exploit because data on an exploit is usually only available after the attack is complete. These attacks can take the form of polymorphic worms, viruses, Trojan horses, and other malware. There are security vulnerabilities in software that can often be exploited by hackers to create confusion. Software developers are always looking for vulnerabilities to patch. However, sometimes hackers or malicious actors find vulnerabilities before software developers. While the vulnerability is open, an attacker can write and implement code that exploits it. This is called an exploit code. Exploit code can cause identity theft or other forms of cybercrime. When an attacker identifies a zero-day vulnerability, he or she needs a way to access the vulnerable system, which he or she does via socially crafted email. This means that the email was probably sent by a known or legitimate user, but was actually sent by an attacker. This message prompts users to perform actions such as opening files or visiting malicious websites. This downloads the attacker's malware, infiltrating your files and stealing sensitive data. Once a vulnerability is known, developers patch it to prevent attacks. However, security vulnerabilities are sometimes not immediately detected. It can take days, weeks, or months for developers to identify the vulnerability that caused the attack. Even after the release of the zero-day patch, not everyone deploys it quickly. In recent years, hackers have exploited vulnerabilities faster immediately after discovery. exploit can be sold for a lot of money on the dark web. Personal hackers using vulnerable systems, such as browsers or operating systems, can exploit security vulnerabilities to compromise devices and build botnets. Personal hardware devices with access to sensitive business data, such as intellectual property, firmware, and Internet of Things giants, and organizational government agencies, targeted attacks against valuable targets such as political targets or national security threats, and attacks against users of vulnerable systems such as operating systems or browsers. Even if an attacker is not targeting a particular individual, many people can be attacked by zero-day attacks. Zero-day vulnerabilities can be difficult to detect because they can take multiple forms, such as missing data encryption, missing authentication, algorithm corruption, bugs, and password security issues. Due to the nature of these types of vulnerabilities, detailed information about zero-day exploits is provided only after the exploit has been identified. Organizations attacked by zero-day deploy can see unexpected traffic or suspicious scanning activity from clients or services. Some of the zero-day detection technologies include how it works with existing malware databases and references. These databases can be updated very quickly and useful as reference points, but by definition, zero-day attacks are new and unknown. Therefore, there is a limit to the extent to which an existing database can tell you. Alternatively, some technologies look for zero-day malware characteristics based on how they interact with the target system. Instead of checking the code of incoming files, this technique looks at the interaction with existing software and tries to determine if it is due to malicious activity. Machine learning is increasingly being used to detect data from previously recorded exploits to establish criteria for safe system behavior based on historical and current interaction data with the system. The more data is available, the more reliable the detection is. Often hybrids from different sensing systems are used. So how to prevent zero-day attack? First, keep our software and operating systems up to date and use antivirus software solutions. Second, make sure to use only the required applications. The more software, the higher the potential vulnerability. Use only the applications you need to reduce the risk to your network. Third, enable the firewall. Firewall plays an important role in protecting your system from zero-day threats. You can configure it to allow only the transactions you need to ensure maximum protection. Fourth, train users within your organization. Many zero-day attacks exploit human error. Teach employees and users good safety and security habits to keep your organization safe online and secure from zero-day attacks and other digital threats.